Okay? All right. Let's start over. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As I just said, now we're doing it for TV, okay? Thank you for coming. It's your presence that makes all these events worthwhile. So these events are for you and to keep you informed. So thank you for coming and out on this rainy morning. I have a couple things that I want to talk to you about this morning. First, I want to thank Brent and the entire staff for keeping us safe during COVID. Okay? How about a round of applause for it? They have done a fantastic job of keeping us safe and keeping us in the right sort of mood and taking us in and out of COVID. And second thing is you've been very, very patient. You've been very, very patient in doing this, and I want to thank each of you, okay, for your sacrifice and for what you've done in making us and helping us through the COVID period. So it's been a staff, resident, joint effort, and we've all done well, and I thank you all for your sacrifice. And third, I want to talk to you a little bit about the staff shortages. We have a national problem, as you know. It's not just here, but it's throughout the United States. People don't seem to want to go back to work yet, okay? We have an issue both in food and in housekeeping. So we're doing our best to staff those two up, and we're making progress. So I ask for your patience and continue to be the team players that you are as we go through this ramp up again and get it solved. I know we'll get it solved. I know Brent has a plan to get it solved. And so I ask for your patience as we move along, and thank you for your cooperation. We have the greatest bunch of residents ever. You guys are really great, and you support the community, and I thank you all for it. Okay, with that, I'll turn it over to you, Brent.
Well, thank you, John, and good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's great to see such a large crowd. I can't imagine why you're all here. but we will go ahead and get started with the administrative report. So the resident satisfaction surveys were completed on October 22nd. That's the day we closed it down. Very pleased with the participation levels. Here in the independent living, we had 79%, and over at assisted living, we had 80%. So really outstanding participation from residents. The survey results will take a couple of weeks to process, and we're expecting them back to us on the third week of November, and then we will turn around and schedule a meeting to share them with you. Excuse me. October saw the COVID booster clinics for the IL and for skilled nursing. We had really good participation. Residents who have received the booster off campus, if we could remind you to please notify the front desk and make sure that the front desk is aware. That is something we're tracking so that we can track the number or percentage of individuals who are actually vaccinated with the booster. And then we also, of course, can report that now 100% of our staff is now vaccinated against COVID. So, positive news on the COVID front. We've seen the percentage of the COVID percentage rates in the county continue to drop. We're down at about 3%. Regency Oaks, anywhere across the campus, has not had a COVID positive resident or staff member for almost 5 weeks. So that continues to help us with our ability to open up the campus, return services, take care of the, eliminate the restrictions on mobility, and so we're getting back to an open status. As Don mentioned to you earlier, staffing continues to be a challenge for us, but there is some good news to report. It was our theory that once we got the staff completely vaccinated and those individuals who chose not to get vaccinated made the decision to move on, that the back door would shut, the people we were losing. And so in the 2.5 weeks since the back door shut, we've seen a positive net gain in staff. Now what that simply means is we've hired more people than we've lost. So that's good, that's great news. But I'm going to ask for your patience and support because this is going to be a long process. It's going to take us 3-4 months to get back to where we have a full staff. Even with the positive gain, it is going to be a slow process. So we have a plan, we're executing against it. Hiring and orientation is our #1 priority, and we are beginning to see the numbers and the trend change. Schaefer Construction Company has been hired as the new general contractor for the expansion, and that includes the town hall, the fitness center, the wellness clinic, and the barber and beauty salon and spa. They're located out of Kentucky with a Tampa office, so it is going to be a local presence. We are still waiting for the building permits. They are coming soon. The building department tells us that they are approved and in processing. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but we are waiting for, I guess, the administrative side of the business unit to process those building permits through the system. As soon as we get them, we'll be able to go forward. We are anticipating December is going to be the start of demolition, and in January will be the start of the vertical construction. Right now, our design committee here, chaired by Lou Weislogel, has just had the first opportunity to sort of look at the FF&E, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and so that process is underway as well. Matt Harrison and the Peak team were here on the 20th of the month for a visit. It was the first time that they had been out of the office in over 2 years since the pandemic. We had about 20 of the managers and department heads gathered together over in the information center, and Matt joked, "This is the largest crowd I've spoken to in 2 years." So it was great to have them back on the property. They were looking, of course, at future expansion. They were looking at the kickoff of the town hall construction, reviewing our capital budget needs and our operational results. And so it was just a good visit, and always great to get Regency Oaks back in front of the eyes of the Peak portfolio so that we can advance our agendas. And you can bet we talk to them about assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing expansion. So we continue to push that. And then just one last thing, we have an updated policy and procedure for pets, and then also for handicap access specifically to our dining rooms. We've had that vetted by corporate legal, and we've reviewed it. We're getting ready to share it with the Safety and Wellness Committee, and then eventually we'll have a resident meeting and share that with you as well. All right, thank you.
All right, I guess I'm up next. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kyle. I'm the administrator over at the Healthcare Center. Just a few updates for the month of October, things that are taking place. As Brant mentioned, the COVID positivity rate is on the decline. As of this week, it was hovering around 2%. So that's just a good thing. So we're continuing to test our staff on a weekly basis. But as you mentioned, all the staff currently in the healthcare center are at least have 1 or 2 doses of if it's a 2-step process, or the 1 step of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We have made some changes to our observation unit for all new admissions. If a resident coming in is currently vaccinated, they only have to be on the observation unit for 5 days versus 14 days. If they're unvaccinated, they still have to stay on their observation unit for 14 days, and then they'll come off and go into general population. The residents in our assisted living and our nursing home have received all the flu and pneumonia vaccines for the year, as well as the COVID-19 booster, if they consented or their families or responsible parties have consented to that vaccine. So that was administered in the month of October as well. Recruitment is a major focus for the healthcare center. You know, as we mentioned, there's currently a staffing shortage, and some recent statistics that came out this week from Leading Age were the state of Florida has a national shortage of 60,000 nurses. And nationwide, where they're facing a 464,000 nursing staffing shortage. So recruitment and retention is a major focus for us as we go through these staffing challenges. The healthcare center, as I mentioned last month, has started working with sound physicians as part of the EverSafe 360 signature program for LCS. We had a go live date of 11/1. Which is our telehealth medicine service. So this service will kick into effect after 5 p.m. during the week, and on the weekends it's 24/7. So this has added an extra benefit to you, as well as our nurses. So there's a physician always available through our virtual telemedicine services. So this will help with triaging patients and keeping the patients in-house versus sending them to the hospital. So, you know, making sure that, you know, we know how to take care of the resident best, we know you best, and you know, so we're not transferring you back and forth to the hospital. So this is an extra added benefit to our residents as well as our staff. Our assisted living for the month of October ran at 25.4 on a budget of 25.5. Today's census is at 25 on a budget of 25.5. The nursing home ran at a budget of 28 on a budget of 52 due to staffing issues. And today we're at 36 on a budget of 54. And we were projecting the census for the nursing home to be at 35 on a budget of 52, and we're expecting the assisted living to be at 25 on a budget of 25.5. We also, in November, as of November 1st, started our kitchen renovations. This will be an 8 to 12 week process. While that's being done, our dining rooms in the nursing home and the assisted living will be closed, and so they'll be having in-room service while this kitchen renovation is taking place. And that's all I have for the healthcare center for the month of October. Thank you, guys.
My name is Sherry Schoitzel. I'm the Director of Financial Services. My report today is on September. I'm currently working on October closing, so just keep in mind this is for the end of quarter 3. Kyle had indicated occupancy. I'm going to give you that in percentages. So for the independent living, year-to-date occupancy is at 90.6%. Our assisted living year-to-date is at 95%. And our health center is at 72%. As Kyle had indicated, we have some staffing issues in the health center, but we are increasing month over month. My October figures are better than September for occupancy. So we are moving in the right direction. Looking again at Q3 September financials, we had a revenue of $1.8 million on a budget of $2.2. So we're slightly under budget due to the occupancy in the health center. Year to date, our revenue is $18 million on a budget of $19. And that's rounding up. So if it's 18.5 versus 19.1, we're about $600,000 behind in revenue, but Q4 is going to help mitigate that loss. Our total wages and benefits were under budget by $144,000 for the month of September. All of our total operating expenses were under budget, including wages and benefits, a total of $44,000 under budget. Q3, we did experience a true-up, which happens every quarter on our insurance loss reserves. So we did have an adjustment that was about $100,000. That will only happen quarterly, but it is in line with our projections. Therefore, our net operating income for the month of September was $100,000 on a budget of $400,000. Our operating income for the year is $2.5 million on a budget of $3.1. Again, October's financials are still being prepared at this time. And again, our occupancy has increased, our revenue has increased from September over October. You will get all of those specifics at the next forum. In closing, you know, the community is still experiencing additional expenses related to COVID, related to supply chain cost increases month over month. We are experiencing a staffing shortage, but there are no material threats or weaknesses at this time. On another note, the third quarter OIR filing will happen later this month, and that will be posted in the libraries as usual. I will be presenting on November 16th at 10:30 in lieu of Tuesday Talk. Brant and I will be discussing the annual presentation of where my monthly service fee goes and why I have an increase. Okay? All right. I'll wait for your questions at the end of the meeting.
Good morning, Perry from Sales and Marketing. Happy to report that we have a full staff. I think I've mentioned that in other meetings, but that's good. But boy, is it noisy over there now because every desk is filled and everybody's on the phone, which is good, but it sure is a lot of noise over there now. But that's a positive thing because we're fully staffed. For October, we had 3 sales on a budget of 4. So we have 1 to make up to get back to even as we go into November. We currently have 2 deposits. We have 5 budgeted sales in November. We have 2 deposits now just on these early couple of days in November, so that's a good sign. We should be in good shape for November and to make up for the one in October. We continue with our events. One of the very popular events that we did in October was Clergy Appreciation. Many of you in this room participated with your faith leader at your table. That's always a popular event. It's a thank you to the local clergy who play a big part in a lot of the residents' lives, as well as clergy get asked questions from time to time from some of their parishioners about future things, and we want them to also make sure they keep Regency Oaks in mind. But it was really a thank you to the clergy for the part that they play in you all's lives, and that was a full house. Every seat was taken. We're making really good progress on our new Franklin model concept. That is equipped with an island. So when you walk in the Franklin model, it has an island, not the kitchen counter, that opens up that model. So we're trying that to see if that is popular moving forward and helping us make more sales of the available Franklin models. That should be completed in a couple of weeks, and we have some furniture that will be staged in there, so that will be a really show wowie kind of a model to show future prospects. And at the same time, we'll be starting on our Hamilton new concept that we're working on. We'll talk more about that as that becomes available. And we continue with postcards and e-blasts. We're touching 10, 11, 12,000 people monthly in the immediate areas through either postcards or e-blasts, as well as we made a little over 800 phone calls in October. That's about 35 phone calls a day that the sales team is doing. So we continue to be very busy. We appreciate everybody continuing to think about us with referrals. Please keep letting us know. You have people that you know from your old neighborhood or church or other connections that we should be talking with. We look forward to having the opportunity to do that. So we're doing well and off to a strong start, or finish for the year rather.
Good morning, I'm Renee. I'm the Director of Administrative Services. And for the month of October, I participated in the COVID-19 booster clinic. We just had our trunk or treat for the staff kids just the other day. That was a lot of fun. And I assisted maintenance with getting the proper documentation for the mobile kitchen that we needed. And one reminder, don't forget this weekend, we need to fall back. So set your clocks that don't change on their own an hour back. So, all right, that's it. Have a great Friday. Thank you.
Here's some of the stuff that we got accomplished last month. We replaced all the washers and dryers throughout the campus of the residents' laundry rooms. We replaced the handicap push pads. We're having a lot of issues in the north building. The boiler inspection, we got that completed. Also, we did a repair on a main pipe on the north building, 3th floor, S-wing. We installed new antennas for the alarm system, and also the fire pump inspections for south, the annual, we got that completed too. And we repaired some potholes in the back of the south building. Thank you.
Morning, I'm Christine from Innovative Home Services. So for the month of October, we were able to have 2 estate sales, and I'm happy to announce that we were able to donate $100 to the scholarship fund and $100 to the employee gifts fund from one of the actual donations from the sales. We actually handed out some flyers for our search and word puzzle. We're going to be doing the picking of that winner for 2 free hours in about a week or so. So if you didn't complete your puzzle, please bring it down to our office. We're having the state sale on Monday in the South Building, and we actually hired 1 new HHA. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Good morning, Regency Oaks. How are you? Great. My name is Tiffany Rivers, your resident program director. So for our month, we participated in the survey party. We assisted with the employee appreciation for the Chick-fil-A sandwiches. They always appreciate anything from us. Also, we coordinated Senator Hooper's political visit. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to come out due to our COVID outbreak, so we're hoping that we can have him back at a later date. Sorry. Also, just a reminder, we did mention at Tuesday Talk, next week we have our football cocktail party, so please come out, wear your favorite jersey. It can be college, high school, NFL, anything that you want to wear to cheer on your team, as well as the doors will open at 3 p.m. So if you have any questions in regards to that, please contact myself or Ginger. Other than that, go Bucks.
Good morning, Ricky Baca, Food and Beverage Director. Some of our accomplishments are the pop-ups in the breezeway. We hosted the survey raffle winners in Brick and Vine, our beer club, our wine club, marketing events, coffee in the breezeway every morning, survey snacks, and we hosted a great black hat dinner the other night in the Regency Room. And a couple important updates. Starting this Sunday in the South, and we're doing this for convenience for the residents and the servers. We're going to start the to-goes at 3 o'clock and finish at 3:45, and then we'll take a half-hour break to reset, and then we will open the dining room from 4:15 to 6 o'clock. And then tonight, being that snow is in the forecast and it's not very nice outside, we still want to do the pop-up, but we're going to do the pop-up in the tavern. Now, I can't wait to walk around the dining room tonight, and I heard that, and people start saying that the tavern is now open. That's not the case. We're just opening it tonight because the weather is not nice outside. So come at 4 o'clock, but the doors will not open till 4, so don't come down at 3:15 or 2:30 and think you're going to get into the tavern. It's 4 o'clock, please. But we're going to do ribs, mac and cheese, and some other sides. So look forward to seeing you. Have a great day. Stay warm.
Hello everyone, Jesse Rosalie, your EVS Director. For the month of October, we finalized the cleaning of the windows in the dining rooms so they look better. Unfortunately, now we have some rain, so hopefully they stay out. We also did the second floor carpets in the hallways in both north and south. We detailed the south elevators, and we also replenished all the air fresheners. You can start noticing a scent in our elevators. We're starting to test a scent in the elevators to make them smell good. So you will see that in the South building for now. So let me know your thoughts, and your feedback is always appreciated. And we also removed the cobwebs on the first floors in the South building from desk. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our administrative report, and Don, we're going to open it up for Q&A.
Let's get some questions, huh?
There you go.
Thank you. Coming around.
I heard yesterday that there are going to be benches for seats in the tavern And if that's so, I don't understand why, because people on walkers will be very difficult to use them, and people with bad backs need a back like the chair. And we voted on chairs, and I just am wondering why we're deviating from that and going to benches.
So we did vote on chairs, and although there was a favorite chair from the four that we had, the bottom line is they were all ugly. And so they were all ugly. And so Bobby agrees with me, but more importantly, Sue Schroeder, who is the design consultant, agreed with me as well. And here's what residents were saying, and this was ultimately what tipped us in a different direction, is those chairs were coming out of an institutional product line. They are primarily used in skilled nursing centers. They're plastic, and we just didn't feel like that represented Regency Oaks well. And so we went back and said, we don't have enough money to do this. We had a $50,000 budget. The chairs exceeded the budget. We didn't like the chairs. Residents, that the feedback I was getting was we need to change direction. And so I worked with Gary Avery to find additional funding. And so we bumped that budget from $50,000 up to $300,000. And what that allowed us to do is a complete refinish of the tavern. And that's all finishes, all furniture, equipment updates to the HVAC, the air conditioning system. And so we're going to get a full tavern renovation. We think that made incredible sense because everything else down here is going to be brand new. You know that we have brand new furniture coming on December 23rd that will replace all of the white wicker. We've replaced all the furniture and done the updates over at the pool. We're doing the updates to the deck and the new construction area. So it just made sense to do it all at one time and end up with a great finished product. So we have not yet shared the design, interior design, with residents for the tavern. We are close to being able to do that. It is not 100% finalized. We have until the end of November to do that. And yes, we are planning on 6 of the 64 seats being benches. And it's 6 of the 64 seats. And so here's part of what we came up with as our design concept is you want a little bit of variety. We have 2 different types of chairs. The bar stools are different than the chairs in the garden room, which are different from the chairs in the tavern. You don't want every table to be the same. We have 2 tops, 4 tops, 6 tops. There's a round table, square tables, rectangular tables, so that you have this nice mixture of furnitures, and it's not all mixy, matchy design. And so I think you're going to be pleased with the overall design. We're looking forward to sharing it with you. The design committee has, I believe, done an outstanding job, and I think you're going to be really pleased when we share it with you. 6 of the 64 chairs. And so just another word on benches. You may not like benches, but there are 6 people out there who will like benches. And so, I don't know about you, but when my wife and I go out to eat, she will only sit at a banquet. She likes the bench because they're so supportive of people with back issues. And so you may not agree, that's okay, but 6 of 64, it's 10% of the seating. It's the appropriate amount.
Maybe you should explain that it's only going to be in that back section where you can put 2 tables together, and it's only there so you can have a larger group in that one little section.
So
the
here,
others are beautiful chairs.
Yeah, here's the other thing I would say. Wait until you see the drawings and design. It's really difficult for you to give an opinion if you haven't seen the furniture, the selections, and the layouts. So we're going to share that with you, but let us get to the point where we have something that is shareable and presentable, and then we'll have a meeting, just like we did on the town hall, that will allow you to give us input and feedback. Fair enough?
Yeah.
All right.
The tavern is going to be closed forever.
Yeah.
So why are you bothering, don't spend any money?
So the tavern is not going to be closed forever. I know right now this is, the fact that the tavern is closed and that we're using buffets, I know that's difficult, but it's staffing related. And, you may not believe this, but we actually had 4 servers on the floor in both dining rooms one day last week. That's amazing. When this event happened back on October 15th, our normal complement of servers is 52. Anyone know how many servers we had on October 15th?
8.
5. 5 out of 52. So today we have 8. So in 2.5 weeks, we've added 4 servers. Now, that's progress.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to continue to see progress over the next couple of weeks. And so the tavern is closed, but it's not going to be closed forever. We'll get back.
Fuzzy math.
Fuzzy math.
5 and 4 are not 8.
What?
5 and 4 are not 8.
9? Fuzzy math. Okay, I'll take 9.
I have 2 things. What is it about time to turn the air back on in the pool so we don't have all that condensation on the windows and the doors stay shut?
So, give me some feedback. So right now, if you don't know the history of this, the air conditioner went down, and so we shut the pool down. And some wise resident said, "Well, isn't there a compromise? Why don't we just open up the doors and run it without the air?" And so we got the air fixed and found out that people liked the doors being wide open and just natural so much that we turned off the air and we haven't turned it back on. The air is running. I can run air, I can run heat, I can run it natural. On wet, rainy days, it's maybe not a good way to evaluate it, but for those of you who use the pool, do you want us to turn the air on? No. Do you want us to turn the heat on? No. All right. Do you want us to just leave it as is? Okay. Doors open. There we go. We can do that.
There's so much condensation in there in the morning when you go.
Yeah.
We open the door.
And it's cool in the morning, and we have to open the doors.
Yeah.
And
Would you like me to have security open the doors like at 6 o'clock?
Well, they do.
They do,
Okay.
but we have to kind of shut them down.
Shut them down.
Because you get that cool air from outside. Anyhow, the
Okay.
other thing is, Melanie Martin and we put decorations on the table there by the elevator in S1. And someone had the nerve to take the turkey off from the decorations. And so Melody would really like her turkey back.
It's interesting. One of the phenomenons about Regency Oaks is we've noticed that there are decorations that we put in place, and all of a sudden one day those decorations will be gone, and there will be other decorations that we've never seen and have no idea where they came from. And then a couple of weeks after that, they'll show back up in a different location. And so I appreciate the fact that we have so many capable interior designers who are working to benefit our beautiful residents. but please return the turkey to Miss Martin.
Any other questions?
I have a question, probably for maintenance. The washer in the M wing, 5th floor, was not leveled, so it wobbles. Is it possible, I don't know if it's like that in any of the other laundry rooms, but it's not good, you know, when it's spinning and it's wobbling. If they could go around and, yeah, if they can't get under there to level it, can they at least lift it up and put something?
Yeah, they have some adjustable legs. So
Yeah.
make sure they go back and adjust all that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question for Brent. How much larger will the new town hall be than this present building right now?
Almost double. The new town hall in the auditorium seating capacity at code has 194 chairs and accommodates 11 wheelchairs. Is that right, Lou?
Yes.
Is that the right number? 11 wheelchairs. So that's 205.
Andrea has a question.
This is for Kyle. You were talking about the telemedicine program?
Yes.
For evenings and weekends? Is
Yes.
that available to us or only to the health center?
So currently we're working with the healthcare center, but we are looking at possibly expanding that over to the independent living as well.
I think a lot of people would feel really good if there was somebody we could call with a medical question on the weekend or in the evening.
Yeah, so currently we're working on getting it rolled out in the healthcare center, and then we'll look at possibly rolling that out in the future to over here as well.
Please do.
Okay, thank you.
I have Ted James. I have a couple of comments. Okay, I'm encouraged that Sherry and Brand are going to have a meeting later this month to talk about some of the financials. For those of you that don't know, there's a Florida state statute that covers continuing care contracts. Okay, and there's some very specific requirements about quarterly meetings, and I would like to read this. Okay. Quarterly meetings with the residents of the continuing care facility for the purpose of free discussion of subjects, including but not limited to income, expenditures, financial trends, and problems as they apply to the facility, as well as a discussion of proposed changes in policies, programs, and services. And at the quarterly meetings where monthly maintenance fees are discussed, a summary of the reasons for raising the fee as specified in subsection 4 must be provided in writing to the president or chair of the residents' council. And in section 4, it says that the quarterly meeting prior to the implementation of any increases in monthly maintenance fees, the designated representative of the provider must provide the reasons by department cost centers for any reason, any increase in the fees that exceed the most recently published CPI. I would just hope that these items are going to be covered in the next meeting.
Anyone? So yes, they absolutely will be addressed, and one of the things, I don't know if any of you pay any attention to this, but they're posted after the meeting, and they go in the bulletin boards in both the north and the south lobby. And this is the resident forum meetings. Now here at Regency Oaks, because our emphasis is so much on communication and transparency, we don't do quarterly meetings, we do them every month. We just think that's better to keep that transparency and open communication going, and that's why we've chosen to do it monthly, every month except for December of every year, which we take off. So this will be the last forum of the year, by the way. But if you look at the design and go back to the statute, you will see that the topics that are in bold on the left-hand side follow the statute line for line, word for word. And so we've set that up to make sure that we are in compliance with 651 statute, rule, and law. And yes, Chad, absolutely. More detail is required on monthly service fee increases, and that's why on the 16th, when we come back before you, we'll be taking the entire hour to go through line item by line item, just what the reasons are behind the monthly service fee increases and how we calculate what that increase is going to look like.
Morning. I just wanted to compliment the staff and housekeeping and the service providers in the dining room, how well they've done in the hiring process. We've got some really nice young people that have joined us. And I know they recognize them every Friday by having a dressing day. And Brad, I would ask that you consider allowing the residents, in support of our servers and housekeeping, to allow us to dress down in jeans as well. Thank you.
No, I'm too smart for that. I'm going to punt that to Margaret Henry and the dining committee and let them wrestle with it.
Most residents dress down every day.
Brent, there seemed to be a lot of conversation as soon as I hear this phone call here. There seems to be a lot of conversation and discussion about potential changes to the door locks. Could you give us a clearer explanation so I hear it from the horse's mouth as what the true story is?
So, just Darwin, real quickly, do we have a flyer we can share on the actual?
I can print something out.
Okay.
I can get one, but I don't have nothing handy.
Okay. So let me do this. Let me say that we'll have Darwin try to find a flyer with the name of the system, the specifics, how it works, all the specific manufacturing detail, and I'll share that at Tuesday Talk. But briefly, let me address it before we actually get you a flyer and share the details with you. Sometime in the month of December, and Darwin, I don't think we have a start date. No. It's there. We're waiting on parts. Imagine that. We will be changing out all of the fob systems that are on the existing doors and putting them on all the interior doors as well. And so everything is going to be controlled, accessed by a fob. Now, the advantage of a fob is it tells us who opened any door, when it was opened, and where you went. And so it gives us the ability to track who is coming and going in your apartment and in supply rooms, who is accessing the doors. If someone's coming in a wing door at 3 in the morning, that might be something we would want to know. And so this gives us a chance to instantly go on the computer and see who actually opened that door and where they went from there. And so it gives us much greater security and key control in terms of tracking movement and knowing where people, how they accessed the building and where they went once they came in. And with that, there are some administrative advantages to that program as well. It helps us make sure that people who were not issued a fob don't have a fob, meaning mostly families or caregivers, and it just tightens up the security of the building and gives us a greater sense that we know who's in our building and who has keys to the buildings.
Well, is this just the public doors, or you're talking about the public doors and the resident doors?
Public and resident doors. It's all the doors.
Okay. Now, putting that in perspective, each morning at the north and south desk, I suspect that there are a fair amount of keys that are at the desk that were left around the building for various reasons. And typically, when somebody, say, goes out of their unit and walks 30 feet to the trash chute, typically they don't have the key on them. Do we have enough staff to open the doors for people that have left, do not have their fobs, and we have a fob problem?
Yeah, and so we understand that initially, as we get everyone re-educated to the new system, that we're going to spend a lot of time responding to, I've locked myself out of the apartment. But ultimately, that's also... In their pajamas. That ultimately is part of the drivers, because we think, and this is just a guess, but we think more than 75% of the residents actually leave their apartments completely unlocked. And that's just that's not a safe practice. We need to not do that. This is going to allow you to have improved security in your apartment. And yes, it's going to take you some time to break old habits and form new habits, and we're prepared for that.
This is just my opinion. I don't know how many of the other 300 some odd residents have this opinion, but I think you're asking for help.
For help?
Hell.
Oh.
I'm serious, man. I mean, that is for people who have certain capacities. Things happen. And I know myself, just walking the dogs, there's many times where I forget my keys and ring the doorbell to get into the door. And then what do I do with my carpet? Do I ask somebody to come up with me? The management of that process, have you really thought about that?
Yep, it's again, we completely understand that there's going to be a retraining period as we get residents accustomed to the new system and retrain them that, you know, you're going to have to wear the key on a band or keep it in your pocket when you go out to walk the dog or empty the trash or go down to get the mail. But ultimately, it's going to give us better building security, and that's something that I think is desirous, that we should want. It's just going to, there's going to be a learning period.
What about the other facilities that have it?
I've been involved in 3 different conversions to the fob systems from keys. It's only as good as the people that are using it. So my advice is to have procedures prepared to cover all of these things. That's going to be your key to the whole thing. How you distribute the fobs. If somebody says they're lost, you have to have the capability to deactivate that fob immediately, because if they give it to somebody, then you got somebody coming in and out that shouldn't be coming in and out. As far as you're sending somebody up, you're going to have extra people to cover that. But overall, once everybody understands it, learns how to use it, it is a much better and secure system.
Yes. Good input. Thank you.
Brian?
Where? Okay. Chris.
When you say public places, does that mean there'll be a fob entry for the arts and craft and the wood shop?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's some of the staff areas, electrical rooms, mechanical rooms, closets, storage. We want to know who's where in the building.
Storage rooms.
Under that system, it's all coded on the computer. So like an electrical room would only have certain people that are coded. So their fobs would be coded. You and I wouldn't be coded. We could never get in there anyway. It won't open for us. The doors, the arts and crafts, and you can code them by hours. It might say, okay, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., this is going to be open. At that point in time, it automatically locks. Nobody can get in or out.
If you're in there, it's
Bring
a bottle of water.
This is going to be a really expensive conversion. I'm trying to figure out what problem you were trying to solve by going this way. Do we have a lot of theft? Do we have a lot of abductions? Have we had a lot of attacks? I can't figure out why.
A stolen turkey.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Great question. And so, you know, Regency Oaks has done a really good job of investing in the physical plant. If you look at the finishes in our apartments, 98% of our apartments have had what we call UTOs, unit turns. They've been updated. Ceilings have been raised. New amenities have been brought in. Our south building was renovated, finishes 5 years ago. The north building is something we've requested in this year's capital budget. We've constantly focused on the physical plant. One of the things that we have ignored completely over the last 32 years is the electronic side of our business. Our telephone system is 32 years old. We're probably the only place in America where you cannot direct dial someone. You have to go through a switchboard. We need to invest in a new phone system. Our TV, internet is completely outdated. Everything is coming through 60-year-old coax cable. We need to update that. So that's what we're doing, is each year we are going to start investing in the electronic technology side of Regency Oaks and get these systems up to date. Status systems, which is our alarm-based platform, which everything is built upon, the in-house TV, high-speed internet, all of those things need capital dollars to make sure Regency Oaks stays competitive going into the next century.
Actually, I'd like to address a couple of things that have been brought up. This place is a rumor mill. We all know that. I mean, the rumor got started that the new tavern was going to have picnic benches, only picnic benches. And this couldn't be further from the truth. I do trust you guys more than that. And Brant was able to answer some questions about that the other day, and I think everybody's going to be pleased with what they're doing to the tavern when it's finished. Might take a while because there is a supply chain issue on everything. Another thing about the fob system, I'm probably going to be one of the first ones who goes out and gets myself locked out of my apartment. I'm sorry. I will have to bother you with that. But nobody should go out in the hallway in their pajamas or in their nightgown for any reason. Your trash can stay in your apartment until you're dressed. Then if you do get locked out, you don't have to go running all over the building in your PJs to get somebody to help you. So use some common sense. And as far as dressing down in the dining room, if anything, we need to clean up the way we go to the dining room. So I have an opinion about everything, I know, but that are some things I do. And sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. But I don't have any problem with voicing them.
Very good.
I have asked this question before, but I don't have it straight in my mind. We have two children who have husbands here, and if we are out of our apartment, we want them to have access at any time. How are they going to get into our apartment if we are not here?
Great question. Front door. Family members should not be coming through the side doors.
Well, they come to the front door anyway.
Perfect.
So then how do they get in?
Did you leave them a fob? No. Your fob when you're away?
No, I mean, say Wayne or I have to go to the hospital and from here, and we automatically take ours with us, but we have no way to get it to them. Yeah. So how do they get into our apartment if we want them to go in there?
We'll go let them in as long as they're on your contact list. So make sure they're on your contact list for us to give access to a family member, and we'll let them in.
Good answer.
I don't know if this is for Jesse. When is the housekeeping surely going to be over?
Yeah, it's for Jesse.
I'd love to have the answer for that. Like everyone else, we are all looking for the best candidates. I don't know if you've seen me in a company vehicle lately the last few weeks. I'm putting my 2 cents by taking a company vehicle every time 2 days a week and going and recruiting in areas that I know that I can get the best candidates. So I'm making sure that I put my efforts in there, and I want it to be done or over as soon as possible. So that's my goal. However, as soon as possible nowadays, we don't know when that could be. So I can tell you that I'm taking the efforts to do it every single week, finding the right candidate, and that's what I'm doing. So hopefully as soon as possible, but I don't have the answer to that, I'm sorry.
So Jesse's being way too modest. What he actually is doing is taking that car with Regency Oaks all over it, going down to these local hotels, parking near the employee exit, and handing out brochures as people come off shift. So let's give him a round of applause for his
That's what we're doing here.
Grant, if I take my trash to the trash chute and I'm dressed, okay, and forget my fob, I don't have a phone, so could we have phones put on each, by the elevator?
So if we convert if we upgrade our phone system to a wireless phone system, yes, we could. But right now, if you cannot put a phone somewhere where there's not a hard connection because our technology is so old. But if
I've forgotten my fob, I've surely forgotten my phone.
Yeah. So knock on the neighbor's door and say, "Good morning, would you like a cup of coffee? Can I come in?" And so, we can make sure, one of the things we can make sure is, I don't know if the phones are still there, but there is a phone outlet in all of the laundries.
I haven't noticed.
We'll take a look at that.
We can take a look.
Maybe that we could make sure that.
I've never seen it before. We can take a look.
Yeah, there's a plaque. I don't think the phones are there. We'll look at that.
One question I want to ask, suppose we were just going to the trash, could we put a prop there, leave our door open for about 5-10 minutes, go into the trash? Would that offset the system?
So if the fire marshal were here, he would say, no, you cannot do that, and we'll leave it at that.
That's good. So
Yeah.
we go.
Grant, we're gonna have to have a separate session on this.
We will. Well, yeah. Oh, there's one more up there. Okay, maybe not.
I think we're just about done.
All right, I'll wrap it up.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We really appreciate the turnout. Have a great day.